Congressman Guthrie's office?
Yes, this is a message I'd like you to relay to Brett Guthrie. He's my congressman. I live in Hodgenville, Kentucky, and I was born and raised in Muhlenberg County in Greenville, Kentucky, so kind of both ends of his district there. I have several things to say. I don't know how long you can listen to me, but this is mainly about the ICE agents that are abusing people's civil rights, and they're brutalizing American people, and they're murdering people. And it's also about the corruption and the lies of the Trump administration and the representatives that they have sent out to spread lies and disinformation and propaganda and hate on television and other news media, where they've actually been caught lying, saying things like Alex Preddy was brandishing a weapon. He had come there to inflict mass slaughter, when none of these things are true. What actually happened, as far as all the videos and eyewitness reports go, in that specific instance, those ICE agents actually committed a crime right off the bat by attacking two different women. They shoved them to the ground for no reason. Now, being called names and yelled at and whistled at, that's not a reason for a government official to physically attack and brutalize a human being. So with that being said, after the crime was committed by the ICE agents, the man, Alex Preddy, was trying to help up the woman, and he was surrounded by other ICE agents, and he's a legal concealed deadly weapons permit holder, and I used to be for a couple of decades, and I gave that up, and I've given up my guns and don't have guns. Oh, just to preface all of this, let me let you know, I'm a combat war veteran. I was in the Persian Gulf War. I served in the military for 6 years, and I was in the Gulf 3 different times on 3 different deployments. And I was involved in the Persian Gulf War, have a combat action ribbon and all that. When I got out, I went to college, graduated from Western Kentucky University, and became a special education teacher and taught for 20 years in the special education departments of a few different counties, and took early retirement after 20 years. And then after that, I worked for a public library, and I've been there for almost 7 years. So pretty much all of my adult life, I've served our nation and our state and our local counties in many different forms. So I'm saying this from my heart, and I'm saying this from knowledge, and I keep up to date. I don't watch mainstream corporate media, legacy media outlets, other than to monitor the lies and propaganda that they put out. I watch very many and listen to and read very many trusted independent news organizations. And the Trump administration is extremely corrupt. They've sent out brutalizing paramilitary forces into our streets. So I'm just wondering, and I want you to pass this along to Brett Guthrie, because I know you can't answer these questions. Why are these military units that have been hired to terrorize communities, why are they going out dressed like they're in Fallujah or Baghdad City? Why are they covered in this riot gear and with machine guns and handguns and helmets and eye protection? Before any of the people started protesting them, they started going into these communities like they're ready to just start killing right away. And I have some people in my family who vote your way. They vote for the Republicans no matter what. And when I talked to a couple of them, they said things like, well, they're only going after murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. Nobody else is being deported. And that's what the official line was when your people went on television. And I'm saying your people because I haven't seen Brett Guthrie come out and say this is wrong. So until he comes out on television and in the print media and on the radio, Courier Journal, other outlets, until he does that, he's in collusion with the ICE thugs, with the renegade Trump administration that's breaking law after law, violating our civil rights, ignoring the Constitution, changing the laws, many things he's done wrong that are documented, and there's plenty of video evidence that these ICE agents are not picking up drug dealers, rapists, and murderers. They're going after teenagers, they're going after young women, they're going after middle-aged, older people. If they're allowed to racially profile, I've seen videos where they're stopping a young woman going into like a Walmart type store and asking her where she's born. So they didn't have a warrant for her. They didn't have a reason to stop her other than she's got slightly darker skin than the average white guy. And more than likely her straight black hair means she's from Latino descent. So let's stop this person and harass her. They've brutalized so many people, it's unimaginable. I saw a video just this morning where there were peaceful protesters in Minneapolis who were actually on the sidewalk, not impeding traffic, not harassing anyone, and stopping the flow of the movement of traffic. And there's a convoy of ICE vehicles going down the road, and the second to last truck opened their window and sprayed pepper spray at them. There have been people that have lost their lives, people that have lost their limbs, people that have been detained illegally. There are Native Americans. Imagine that, Native Americans that have been rounded up and are still in detention. They were here before me and you, unless you, ma'am, are a Native American descent, and I don't think you are. So there are so many crimes, it's almost impossible for me to rattle them off. So I'm going to stop there on that, and I'm also going to throw this in there. We need to and have to stop funding Israel. We are behind the genocide that's going on in Gaza and in Palestine. And that's not disputable. The International Criminal Court, the World Court, the United Nations, and several countries have declared that Netanyahu and the people who work with him and for him, and any country who aids and abets them, are in violation of international law and were committing war crimes. And he has an arrest warrant out, and we've invited him to the White House many times and run cover for him. And the Republicans stand up and cheer when he's actually supposed to be in prison right now. And Donald Trump has appointed him to this fake board of peace that's really just a real estate scam. So I could go on and on and on, but you probably don't want to hear it, and you're just probably mouthing off blah, blah, blah in the background. But I love you anyway, and I wish the best for you, and I wish the best for this country. But know deep down in your heart that you're probably backing the wrong horse if you're going to stick by Donald Trump in this corrupt, lying, brutalizing, dehumanizing regime that he's in charge of. He's the head of the Hydra. He's the fangs on the snake. So I hope you got some of that. Maybe you even pushed record because I sounded like a wacko. But just know, I'm a good person. I'm a good Christian. I go to church. I'm a Catholic. And I'll leave you with one or two little statements here. This is from Cardinal Tobin. He said this the other night when they had a prayer vigil that was online, and he was on Zoom. I saw the video, and this is the quote. He had a long statement, about 5-minute statement. He said, "Will you ask them for the love of God and the love of human beings, which can't be separated, to vote against renewing funding for such a lawless organization?" So that's from Cardinal Tobin. And there's another one here, just one more I'll quickly share with you. This one is from, no, actually I got rid of that one. So I'm sorry, that's the only one I want to share with you. So anyway, like I said, I'm a concerned citizen. I'm a voter, registered voter. I've been voting since I turned 18 in 1984. I've gone much more towards the independent route. I think I even met Brett Guthrie at the House of Onyx in Greenville back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. But I really hope that your all's conscience will start tugging at you, and your devotion to the Republican Party and the power structure that's in place, whatever they decide to do, whatever nations they decide to invade, if they want to go start killing people in Iran, if they want to continue to kidnap world leaders in Venezuela and kill people in the process, and threaten to take over Greenland, threaten to take over Canada, threaten to take over Mexico, threaten to take over Cuba. The world sees us in a different light now. We're actually a laughing stock, but they're also terrified of us. We're not respected any longer. So Brett Guthrie needs to think about his respect and his standing in the world as he grows older, as I grow older. So thank you for your time, ma'am, and I hope this settles somewhere in your conscience.
Okay, I'll let the congressman know.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Senator McConnell's office, may I help you?
Yes, I've been trying for several hours to get a hold of anyone in any of his offices. I've tried Louisville and Lexington and Washington, and now I'm trying you guys, so I'm glad I'm speaking to somebody.
We had over 1,000 calls yesterday.
Did you really? That's a lot in one day.
So we have, and it's just one call after another.
Well, I'm hopefully you can have a few minutes to speak with me. I have some grave concerns about the state of our nation. Born and raised in Greenville, Kentucky, in Muhlenberg County, John Prine's Muhlenberg County, and I live in Hodgenville, Kentucky, in the center of the state, about 10 miles south of Elizabethtown, and we've been here almost a quarter of a century. We've been here since 2001, moved here September 1st. I am a combat veteran. I'm a Persian Gulf War veteran. I served in the United States Navy. I was in the military for 6 years, from 87 till 1993. After that, I went to the Western Kentucky University to become a special education teacher, and I graduated and became a special ed teacher and served for 20 years in the Commonwealth as a special education teacher in a couple of different districts. Finished up my last 14 years of my 20 years I taught in Louisville. And then after I took early retirement, I've been working at a local public library. So as you can see, I've been serving the country, the nation, our military, our state, our educational system, our public library system for pretty much all of my adult life. And I'm now an independent voter. I used to vote mainly for the Democrats, and I've been voting since 1984 when I turned 18. I'm 59 years old this year. I turned 60. But I'm an independent voter now. I think that most of the people in the government are relatively bought and sold by corporations now. Now, I do know Senator Mitch McConnell is probably not going to run for re-election this year, I'm guessing. But
no, he's already announced that he is not.
Okay, that's good. And I also understand, because I think that might give him some more courage, and he needs courage right now. Our state and our nation is in a dire situation with the corruptness of the current president, Donald John Trump. And I know Senator McConnell has been very critical of him in the past, but other times he sides with him wholeheartedly and completely and votes his way on almost every issue. So it's kind of hard to figure out what he's really all about when it comes to opposing the tyranny of this 34-time convicted felon, and all the things he's doing to basically hurt the American people and people all over the world. But what I mainly wanted to talk about today, and I'll tell you a couple more things at the end, is that I'm very disgusted about what's going on with ICE and the brutalization of American people and the militarization of our police forces and the paramilitary, almost like a Gestapo type brown-shirted thuggery of the ICE agents, and the way they're coming into streets all over America, not just Minneapolis, all over America, and they're dressed in fatigues and battle equipment like they're ready to invade a terrorist hideout in Fallujah or Baghdad City. They're ready to go to battle, and they're going to be beset by mercenaries and snipers and bad guys that are going to try to blow them to bits. They look like they're ready to start some massive trouble, and that's what they're doing. Now, my aunt, she's a devoted Trump follower and even thinks that Trump was sent here by God. For some odd reason, she believes that this person who is clearly working for demons was sent here by God. And so when I argued with her that they're kidnapping people off the streets of America, putting them in concentration camps until they can deport them to sites that are known to torture humans, like El Salvador, and they're sending them to countries that are not even their home country. They're rounding up all kinds of people. She said that that's not true. Her news sources are telling her that they're only arresting murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. Well, as we can all see, that's absolutely false, and I've seen hundreds of videos, not AI-generated videos, real videos from multiple angles by various people posting videos that they've taken in public where ICE agents are brutalizing American citizens. I saw one just this morning where some peaceful protesters were holding up their signs, and they were standing on the sidewalks in Minnesota, not impeding traffic, not confronting ICE agents, not trying to put up barricades. They're on the sidewalk. A caravan of ICE trucks and cars went by, and like the second to last vehicle opened their window and pepper sprayed them as they drove by. I've seen young women and teenagers being arrested without warrants. They're only basing this on the color of their skin or their accent. So they're not looking for criminals any longer. I think they've rounded up a vast majority of the illegal aliens or the undocumented workers here who are criminals, bad guys, and I'm sure there's more hiding around, but they're supposed to be reaching this quota of 3,000 detainees every day that Stephen Miller has put out there. Just a random number, but it's to put pressure on the ICE agents to round up as many people as they can, and they are. So I saw a video where they arrested a woman, a young Latino woman who's approaching a Walmart, and they start asking her where she's born. Where were you born? And so she's terrorized, and they take her away. They're not here to protect us. They're here for white supremacy. They're here to hurt Americans and people who are here as legal immigrants. They're terrorizing communities and they're brutalizing people. So let me skip to the part about Alex Preddy, where it's obvious, and now the president seems to be in a panic mode, and they're getting ready to fire a couple of people to be their sacrificial lambs so they can say, hey, we had nothing to do with this, there were a few bad decisions made. But he's also saying, and this was something I saw today, he's also saying that, this is a quote, with that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You just can't. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident. So that's a lie, 5 times a lie. You can walk in with guns, and there are plenty of documented cases here in Kentucky and across the nation where right-wing protesters and anti-protesters have shown up strapped with bandoleros of bullets across their chest, with semi-automatic rifles, AR-15s, pistols, handguns, swords, knives, any kind of weapon you can think of. They've even gone into the capital of Frankfurt, held them above their heads, yelling and screaming during sessions of the Frankfurt General Assembly during the coronavirus in 2020, protesting the governor, Governor Beshear. You know this to be true. They hailed a murderer, Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot and killed 2 protesters. He crossed state lines, brought his AR-15 to be a counter-protester against the protesters who were with Black Lives Matter and were upset about the George Floyd murder and police brutality in general, and he killed 2 people. Now he's held up as a hero in the right-wing circles. Charlie Kirk gave a huge rally for him. He gets to go around the nation doing paid speaking opportunities. Meanwhile, President Trump has pardoned I think it's 1,600, maybe it's 1,500 insurrectionists who invaded the Capitol and brutalized the police officers who are there to protect the workers at the Capitol. And one of them is a man from Munfordville, Kentucky, and I've read the federal prosecution paperwork on him. And about 1.5 years ago, he was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. He pepper sprayed 2 separate officers and incapacitated them. And he's now been set free, and all of his crimes are forgiven by a corrupt president. So this guy's running around invading sovereign nations, killing people along the way, kidnapping their president, bombing and firebombing and destroying fishing boats and trawler boats. And what if they were drug-dealing boats? What is the issue with not giving them due process? Just spot somebody and decide to do summary execution. We're going to bomb this boat and kill anybody that doesn't die right away. We're going to kill them and kill them all. And that's what they deserve. That's summary execution. That's illegal. So if those people on the Venezuelan fishing boats were drug dealers, then our Coast Guard is supposed to board the vessel, look for contraband. If they find it, they take them into custody. They transport them to a jail. They give them lawyers. They try them in court. And then if they're found guilty, they put them in prison. That's pretty standard operational procedure, at least in a free America. So murdering those people is happening on the highest level. Pete Hegseth is praising all these murders and ramping it up. And then the president invaded the country and kidnapped their president. Their president. Not our president, kidnapped their president. So now he's threatening to use military force to invade Greenland, possibly Canada, wants that to be our 51st state. Mexico, he's threatened their president. Cuba said they're next. And we're about to help the Israelis bomb Iran again. And that's going to cost thousands of lives on both sides if that comes into fruition. And that brings me to another topic. We shouldn't...
I have to interrupt you. I've been on the phone for over 10 minutes with you, and there's many points that I agree, and it doesn't matter. My job is to take your message. But this is way beyond what I can report.
Okay.
And
I understand.
I'm so sorry.
Well, let me say one last thing. All right, I'll let you go. It's just one last thing. So I know there's going to be a budget battle coming up. So the main reason I called is to defund ICE, and if you can't defund ICE, decrease the numbers, their budget down to the levels that it was before this massive surge where they've militarized these goons, these thugs, to terrorize American citizens. Matter of fact, you should probably get rid of ICE and go back to the INS.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.